have you noticed? Okay, have you noticed that every sporting event, it's pretty well known, covered thing. Like Brown Cardigan always talk about it, etc.
Yeah,
always like is on social media. The whole random South Sky thing.
Mm.
Don't you think that the length of time that it's been going must be some sort of marketing campaign for South Sydney?
Do you reckon there's someone behind the random South guy?
I reckon Russell Crowe must be pulling strings somewhere. Like the amount of times the random South guy has rocked up at like the WWE, it can't be coincidence. You know, some things just can't be overlooked.
Maybe South fans are just freaks.
Well, that is a fact, but I mean, like, it's just. It doesn't.
Someone's got to be behind.
Someone's got to be pulling the strings here. That's what I'm saying.
I know what you say.
It's all too much.
Mm.
There's got to be like a Facebook page or something, I reckon. Just everyone's on that.
Their own group.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like rostered on.
Who's going to do the Barca game?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
I'll step up.
I actually saw the Fox with Adama Traore at the Barca game, and I just thought that is one of the weirdest combinations of sportsmen I've
What,
ever
they were
seen.
sitting together?
They were like took a photo together after the game, and it's just like you would never think that would happen.
Adama Traore would have no idea who
No.
the Fox is.
And like imagine like him speaking like Spanish and the Fox
Yeah.
being the Fox. Like who knows what they'd be saying to each other.
Yeah, baby.
Marshall gets away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
All right, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Barflies podcast, episode 39. Episode 39. Got an Origin special coming at you this week. Obviously, game one on the horizon. We've also got the highest production episode of the Barflies.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Yeah, introducing the ring light, everyone.
Huge.
I didn't charge the camera either, so we're filming with my phone, so it shouldn't die halfway through. Obviously, this week, I'm joined by my good friend, comrade Alexander Russell, and we've also got special guest Nathan Rowley-Bates.
Howdy.
Welcome. How do you feel? Feeling good?
To say I'm excited is an understatement.
Yeah.
You dream of these moments. You dream.
He actually brought his own notes, which is more, and it's probably more notes than Cody's ever brought to the podcast in the entire episodes. So Kuda, he had a great suggestion in the layout of the notes. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
It's a bit like doing a school uni presentation on the Google Docs.
Okay.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like moving it through.
Closer.
Oh, sorry.
See, we made fun of him, and that's him like trying to get one up on you.
Yeah,
now
he's trying to
for
bring me
making
back
him
down
look
to
bad.
Well, you
Yeah.
don't. The head of tech doesn't sleep. Like, you can't just put that away. You know
He's
what I mean?
trying to alpha you because he reckons he's the boss in this.
I will admit, head of tech, very fitting. He was pretty good today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He made some moves to get the ring light working.
Made a couple of cable ties, mate. Cable ties are a man's best friend. I've always said that.
They're handier than you think.
Yeah, they are. Well, look, we're not going to talk too much dribble today. We're just going to kind of get into it. Arguably one of the biggest games of rugby league in each season, game one of Origin.
That's a fair statement.
Is that
That's
a
fair
fair
statement?
statement?
That's a fair statement.
So what? Wednesday night, Sydney.
night. Coldest night of the week. That's the weather conditions. Dry, but very cold and windy.
Dry track, cold, windy.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like a directional wind?
I'm unaware yet. We'll have to check the.
Well, you should have looked in that.
I should have done more research. That's my fault. That's
yeah,
my
that's
fault.
all
But yeah, it's supposed to be a low of 6, which is probably the coldest it's been yet in this little winter blast.
Okay, and it's been cold.
It has.
It's been fucking cold.
It's been very cold.
ANZ Stadium, is it still called that?
Accor Stadium.
Yeah, Accor.
Accor. One of the scattest stadiums to watch. Rugby league.
What do you reckon? Because Nathan's going to the game.
I'm going, but this will be my first time.
You've never been to ANZ before?
No.
What?
I basically have only been to Brookie and SCG.
Really?
recently. Yeah, and that's not a great game to watch. I went to Bank West the other week though.
Oh, how is that?
Yeah, Bank West is great.
That was an awesome stadium.
Yeah.
But I got like best seats in the house as well because I'm doing an internship at 9. So I actually watched from the commentary box, which was sick.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Must be
nice.
So that was good. But
Wait, you watch the Bank West from the commentary box, or you're watching
Yeah.
the State of Origin from the commentary box?
oh no, not the State of Origin.
I was gonna say.
State of
No,
Origin.
no.
I'm going with mates.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but yeah, Bank West.
What game was it?
Manly Para.
Nice.
Yeah,
And that would have been a
so,
good game to watch.
Or is that when Moses kicked the goal to win?
Yeah, turbo season-ending injury as well.
Oh, tough.
Not a good ending.
Tough night to be a Manly fan.
Oh, quick note about Nathan. What also qualifies him to be our expert in this
Okay.
is that he's probably one of the only people that we know that plays rugby league.
I didn't even know that.
He plays.
There you go.
Mate, scored a very acrobatic try on the weekend from all reports.
Oh, really? What
Yeah.
position do you play?
I'm playing wing at the moment.
God.
But,
He's a bit of Nico
Who would
Hines,
you
mate.
liken yourself to on the wing?
uh,
Are you a Brian Toto or like a
no,
a
not
Fox?
a Brian Toto.
To a
I'd
Lungy
like to say I'm a bit of a fox. But yeah, I don't know. Not a Tupo.
Okay.
Throbbo.
We'll come back to Tupo.
Yeah, come back.
We'll come back to
We've
that.
got a lot to unpack. There's a lot to get into. We've got, Origin season. It's like Cody said, biggest game of the year. Lots to get into. Let's get into it. First take, might I just add, Origin without Rabs.
Where do we start here?
Where do we start with that?
Leaves a hole.
Massive
Leaves a
hole.
hole.
Yeah, look, I think it leaves us just, in a bit of a void. Like, not only in rugby league, in my heart.
Well, so many great moments.
Dare I say, immortalised in the Barflies intro.
Exactly. That Marshall flick pass is the most iconic that I can remember.
In the 97 grand final when Joey went short side.
True. They're probably the two to mind.
Dan Albert. I don't have a particular moment. Just lots
Dude,
of
like
good
every,
moments,
yeah, I
Just
swear
the
like
presence.
the
He's just
Cowboys grand final as well.
Yeah.
He's been on all the big games, so any
Yeah.
big game where something's happened, it's been Rabs.
Yeah, he really is the voice of league. Like all the moments you remember. It's
Totally.
Just Rabs.
Totally.
And I don't know who chucked this note in here, but I definitely agree. The Origin build-up is definitely feels different without him, and just the TV coverage in general is very different now.
Yeah, well, I chucked that in. Followed on well for the Rabs point, but I just reckon, I don't know. Do you guys reckon when I was younger, just like the music in the build up and like the camera angles, Gus's speech before the game, stuff like that, it just felt like way more intense and like
Theatrical almost.
yeah, more theatrical. Nowadays, it's just like you get like the new pop song is playing and there's too much focus on the lights on the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I want them to bring it back. Maybe it's a bit of absence of the biff as well, and probably the streak of Queensland every year. We were kind of like, oh, are we going to win this year?
Yeah.
It was like big focus on that, but
It definitely had a different aura to it, like
Yeah.
Origin, and like I don't know if that was just because it was us sort of being in our teenage years at the time, but I don't think so. I think it's like yeah, like you say, it's really hard to put your finger on, but maybe I just associate that time of like Origin being massive every year just because it was like, are we going to beat Queensland? Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. There was a lot more on the line for New South Wales. Because it was like, fuck, are we going to be demolished again? Like, are we going to be absolutely towed up again?
Yeah.
Like, is that going to happen? And it usually would.
Yeah.
You know,
It happened every time.
But the one time they won, I remember I watching on TV and like screaming at the TV. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I was at the game.
That just happened.
I was there.
Were you screaming?
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you were.
Was 15-year-old Cody screaming when New South Wales broke the street?
Let me check. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I
they were,
was.
yeah.
And I was, you know what I mean?
Even that, I watched the highlights of that game 3, is it 2020 or 2019 when Fergo
Teddy.
throws it back inside to Teddy, like last play of the game. Like, how is that not talked about more?
I was, I
What
was there as
try?
well. That
You
was
were there
dumb.
as well.
Yeah, it must be
Like,
nice. Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. Mate, insane, right?
What moments?
But then, like, the follow-up year where Queensland won an unwinnable series, which was, quite frankly, embarrassing.
See, we say this, we're saying like, oh, it feels different, but I guarantee you for game 2 and game 3, it'll feel we won't be feeling, oh, it's not as intense. Like, you'll be in the midst of Origin fever, as it were.
Do you think also maybe we're just watching TV less now, in general? Like, I don't know, I feel like in, like, 2013, the TV's on in a house more, and you're just seeing more ads and stuff, but, like, with the rise of Netflix and of course, KO, are we seeing just less advertising in general, just, because we're not exposed to it?
What do you, of the Origin match itself?
Yeah, that's what I'm just
Yeah,
to go
could
back
be.
to like
Yeah, could be.
not seeing as much build up is because
Could
like
be.
I don't know, does anyone watch normal TV anymore? Not really.
Yeah.
No.
But at the same time, there is on Fox and KO, they have their own kind of form of advertising, but they do it through their own shows.
Yeah.
It's when they have like the segments on the Matty John show or whatever or whatnot, or they kind of or they do a lot of YouTube work now as well. There's less. I'll definitely agree. There's less of a build up on, you know, the actual TV itself.
Yeah, for sure.
I was more saying though, like in the like actual pre-game, like when you
of
turn
the
on
night?
Yes, on the night.
Okay.
Like,
yes.
yeah, I don't know. Listen, like watch it. Maybe look out for this Wednesday.
No, I definitely
But
will.
yeah, like I don't know, something about it was just like really intense and like and obviously the rivalry's always there and the game's always like lives up to the billing. So but yeah, I don't know, something about it and Rab's leaving is just going to change it a lot more again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're about to do team overviews. Before we get into that, because that's a can of worms, Billy Slater. We'll just touch on this point quickly. Billy Slater is the coach of Queensland. We're talking about building intensity for the match. One bloke noted for his competitive spirit. I think will be a great addition to the coach, like as the coach, and the players coming in as part of him being the coach is also huge. You got GI, you got Cam Smith, Jonathan Thurston in that coaching, and I think there's someone else I'm forgetting. Maroon and NRL legends. Like this, I feel like this will definitely be with him as that addition. Like I'm a bit scared. Like I saw an interview with him the other day, and I'm not even going for Queensland, and I got goosebumps listening to him talk. And I'm like, this is gonna be on.
Yeah, this is I think it's a little bit PTSD for all of us. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
we kind of thought we were done with Smith, Thurston, and Billy, and now it's
and now
back.
they've come back.
And I'll say this about Billy: he's looking hot as shit as a Queensland
Yeah.
coach. You know what I mean?
Silver.
He's going
Silver Fox.
Yeah,
Fox.
dude. Come on, man. I'm scared. Queensland are flying under the radar. I don't know how they manage to do it every year. Munster's literally the form player of the comp, and everyone is still just talking about New South Wales.
Just how they want it.
Exactly right.
I reckon Billy could honestly chuck on a jersey and you wouldn't even know he'd been retired for 3 years.
Did you
honestly?
Did you see the video of him in training, like from a couple months ago?
I haven't seen it. No.
He's like running around. I can't remember if it's with I think it's with Melbourne,
Right.
and he just looks the same as he always did. Like he still looks in impeccable shape.
Yeah. I honestly think he could just go, nah, boys, play a coach this year and just go on the field and still rip.
Probably.
And I don't think anyone would question it if he did.
Yeah.
Probably would win player of the series as well.
Well, he did last time he played.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be very interesting, and not to stray away from our very strict point structure here, but it will be very interesting to see KP in this Origin series for two reasons.
Well, we've got that as a note.
Would you want to circle back to it?
We'll
then?
circle back. Unless we want to do Queensland first.
That's all right. You lead the way.
No, let's do Queensland first. Keep going.
Okay. One of my biggest worries about this side, obviously, aside from Munster, because like you can be worried about Munster, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way you can prepare for a player like Munster because he's so off the cuff.
Definitely not.
Huh?
Definitely not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. But with KP, I think like he's been flying under the radar a bit this year, just because the nights aren't that hot, and like every fullback that's sort of either trained or been involved with Billy Slater has gone on to rip and tear. As we've discussed, I think, in previous episodes.
Well, Scotty Drinkwater, Pappenhausen, Hughes,
Munster.
just to name a
The list
couple.
goes on. So KP under Billy Slater will be very interesting. Almost like from a unbiased perspective, I'm excited to see it. Like I'm excited to see KP at his absolute best.
Yeah, the thing with KP, I've always thought. I think we had a fired up discussion about KP pre-season.
We had a yelling match over this.
Yeah,
it was
actually. I think it actually made the pod.
it got noted on the pod. On Pub Golf. Yeah.
But yeah, he is so dangerous in attack, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Billy does to like even improve that. But like his defense has always been the question for me as well. That's what like brings him down from like.
Yeah, I do see. I swear he makes more missed tackles or missed attempts than what you. I definitely agree. There's times where you're watching him play and you're going, I know it's hard for fullbacks at one-on-one sometimes.
Of course, yeah.
but I have seen plenty of those tackles made, and he seems
Yeah.
to not make them.
Yeah, and I think it gets glossed over a bit because he's a Ferrari, as they call him. He's just so good in attack. I mean, he makes up for it a fair bit, but in a night side at the moment, maybe.
Where they need a bit
Yeah,
more.
they probably do need a last
defensive
line.
grit.
Yeah, defensive grit, exactly.
I think to kind of add on to both your points for Ponga, I think him flying under the radar is not ideal for New South Wales, like most of the Queensland team is right
No,
now.
exactly.
Like the most talked about Queensland player right now is a 19-year-old who hasn't played Origin before. Like, how stupid is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, but what I want to say about Ponga is that I feel like he's not even really been playing that well for Newcastle this year.
No.
Like, respectfully to him, as we're big Ponga fans, but I don't think he's played that well.
Hasn't played his best footy, no.
I really think post-Origin, he'll gain a lot of confidence from this camp with Billy Slater's tutelage. Is that the right word?
Sure.
Yeah. And progress Newcastle through the year. I think it'll be very beneficial for him. Almost like
Agreed.
getting that big confidence boost of going into the season, coming out, hopefully uninjured, supercharged.
Yeah. And he's going to be playing behind like an unreal rugby league side.
Exactly.
With the complete disrespect to Newcastle, they're shit.
At the moment.
He's now playing behind like the best players in the comp.
Well, he's got two of the best halves.
Exactly.
He doesn't really have that at Newcastle.
Instead of Clune and Clifford, he's got DCA and Munster, which
Yeah.
isn't a bad.
I have heard of DC and Munster.
Yeah,
I've heard of those
exactly.
guys.
So, and I don't mind Clune and Clifford. They have their times.
They started
They're not-
the year off a bit hot. But
Yeah, they're not the best players on the circuit, but there's potential. But they're no like chalk and cheese.
Yeah,
Obviously,
100%.
obviously.
That being said, also Ponga always does rip in Origin. Like he came back last year, game 3.
Definitely.
They
Ripped,
win.
yeah.
He definitely had a good match then. So yeah,
Well, I think that's the one thing you can always say about Queensland is like they get Origin.
They can take.
They just get it.
yeah.
They get it.
Speaking of one bloke who definitely gets Origin and was man of the match last year in Game 3, Ben Hunt starting over Harry Grant on the bench. Ben Hunt, 7 for the Dragons, currently leading the Dally M vote. Always, has had his critics, always seems to turn up big in Origin. And then you've also got that option, Harry Grant, maybe the number one hooker or number one hooker in the competition right now.
I'd say he is. Yeah.
If he's not, he will be very soon.
By the end of the year, he probably will have his Australia jersey. I reckon.
We're talking about X Factor on the bench. Wow.
Well,
Wow.
Harry Grant against tied forwards.
Yeah. And Harry Grant and Hunt were on the field at the same time last year and ripped it up. So I think they'll be able to kind of
Just similar what
do
they do
similar.
with Smith.
Yeah,
with,
definitely.
Cheese.
So that is really something that I'm looking at as well. As
Well,
going
did
like,
they play
options.
together at all in the Origin last year? Did they play
Game
Game 3?
Game 3?
Did they
Yeah.
both? Who started? Hunt?
Hunt started.
Did Grant play game 3 last year? I think the reason Hunt was in the team was because
I thought Hunt was 14.
Grant was out. Maybe you're right. Maybe I don't know. I thought maybe it was like a late scrapping even.
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, there's something went on because we're all not sure about it. So something
Yeah.
obviously happened. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's like a great decision by Queensland because Ben Hunt fucking rips for Queensland.
And he's been
Yeah.
playing that good for the Dragons.
He must I haven't been watching, but he obviously has been.
He's been
if he's
playing-
top
yeah.
of
He's
the
been
Dally
playing-
M.
He's been playing really well.
He puts them on his back definitely.
Yeah, he's been carrying them pretty hard.
It's good. It's good to see. He's copped a lot of criticism the last couple of years as well. So he's finally living up to his price tag, I
Exactly.
guess.
And then obviously Queensland, they're young, they're hot, they got plenty to prove. You got a lot of healthy players. They haven't had healthy players for a long time. They've got some energy, some youth in there, like Cotter, Nanai, Cobbo.
Oh,
Get ready for some electric footy. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm
It'll be
so
electric.
scared.
They're
And
gonna
outside backs are they're
Yeah.
so hot at the moment.
yeah.
electric.
All of them are.
And Gagai and Val, we don't even need to talk
Yeah.
about them. We just don't need to talk about them. Put
And-
them both anytime try scorer. That's all I'll say.
I'm definitely got Gagai. Got my eyes on Gagai and Xavier Coates as anytime try scorers. I think. I just-
Whoever's marking Tupu.
Yeah, well,
Tuvo.
we'll get into that. Any other points on Queensland, real quick? Anyone got anything in the team overview, or what would you change?
Dude, Queensland picked that team so perfectly. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have picked that any better. We've spoken about him a little bit, but Munster is in career best form. Career best form, which is just like so frightening. Look,
Jai Arrow, the only real glaring omission from that squad.
did he not make the team at
No.
all? I thought he was 17.
No,
Oh, Paddy
Nanai.
Carrigan's
I don't
in
think
as well.
Paddy Carrigan and Nanai, Hunt, and someone else is on the bench. It's escaped me right
Carrigan, no, must be a prop.
Is it Lindsay Collins?
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lindsay
Yeah.
Collins.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
Nice.
So,
Who's the 10? Papali'i and Tino.
yep.
Yeah.
And then Cotter starting 13.
Mate.
Tackle machine.
And then who's the back row? Kofusi and...
Capewell. Given. Yeah.
Mate.
That's pretty solid.
David Fafita injured, so he's not anywhere about that squad.
I'm happy for him to not be in that team.
Yeah.
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 Dude, that is a good side. I probably wouldn't change anything, to be honest.
No,
You guys?
I think that team's pretty set.
The only thing I'd maybe would have was I thought maybe Carrigan could have started 13, give Ruben Cotter a bit more of like an injection off the bench later. But like otherwise, yeah, Queensland's kind of, not to take away anything, but they've kind of got like their perfect squad, and at the moment they're like lacking in a bit of depth. I think compared to New South Wales, there's not as much like competition. It's just, but like their squad,
He's solid.
their starting,
Who they have is
their
done.
best squad is absolutely super gun. So yeah, like it's kind of everyone they chose was pretty expected, and then maybe Hunt and Grant. Obviously, Hunt's a little bit more of a
Toiler.
utility, I guess, as well off the bench instead.
I like that
yeah.
team. Wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
Happy with it. Scared. Look.
Okay, here we go. Now, okay, it's gonna get loud in a second. The New South Wales team. Hold up. New South Wales, couple replacements, couple of big outs. In my opinion, the team is slightly different, but still quite similar, with the spine still in play. What do you guys think?
Well, look, Freddie Fittler probably knows a bit more about rugby league than I do.
Yeah.
And I feel like me stating the obvious, as every other New South Welshman is kind of feeling. I think, in particular, with some of the obvious shock selections. I'm just going to try and refrain from saying too much before this game's been played, because Freddie's obviously got something in mind here. Do you know what I mean?
There's a plan. There's obviously a plan formed, but we don't. No one seems to be able to figure out what said plan is going to be.
No.
Probably how he
No.
wants it.
Probably. Do you agree, Nate?
Yes. Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably the same as Cody in. Yeah, I at first glance, I was like, I really don't like this squad. I've warmed up to it.
I agree. Same here.
But yeah, like I hope he has a plan.
Well, me and Cody were having blow-ups on Messenger about this squad when we saw the reveal.
yeah.
Like, we weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of looked at it at the start, and I went, oh, but is it really that different? Like, it's only like a winger and couple changes. But it's the people. I think it's not necessarily who's been brought in. That's the big talking point. It's more who's been left out.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad problem to have in reflection, but at the same time, you're missing the Fox, who has never made a foot wrong in Origin Arena. Isn't really playing that bad for the Bulldogs. He's just playing for the Bulldogs. Like he's probably been their best player.
Yeah.
Then you're missing tackling machine Jake Travojevic, and we're talking about gritty players. He's one of them. And who has done it before and will continue to do it, you'd think.
Yeah.
And obviously the other one being Angus Crichton, who's just
Mate.
thoroughbred.
Well, my just to touch on these 3 points real quick. Would Queensland pick the Fox? Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would.
They would. They wouldn't even think twice about it. This is what frustrates me about New South Wales is they just like, I don't know, just feels like you're putting yourself under more pressure. And then like Jake Trbojevic is more than just like, because maybe he's not playing career best footy at the moment, but like
He's playing better than he played last year.
yeah, like when he pulls on that jersey that he's going to play well, and like to me strikes me as a bit of like a spiritual leader.
Yeah.
Whether he's got the armband or not, he's a captain of sorts, right?
You'd
He
think
leads by example.
you wouldn't think he's like far away from being a captain in that team itself.
Exactly.
Really.
That's my point, right?
Yeah.
And like Angus Crichton is like he's again
He's one of the
granted,
best second rowers.
he's in my opinion like the premier second rower.
Yeah.
Like I can't really figure it out.
Well, it's weird that, you pick and stick with Tarek Sims, who, look, we like Tarek. I got nothing against Tarek. But Tarek Sims hasn't been playing the whole year, had an injury, now has just kind of come back. But, you're willing to keep him.
It's weird.
But then the Fox you're willing to drop.
Yeah.
Seems a strange decision.
Yeah, that was the main issue for me, was like the whole pick and stick thing. Like, and I had a point about that Sims Crichton thing. Like, if you're picking and sticking, you want to like build a dynasty. That's what Queensland does. They get Origin because they pick and stick and they blood the young players early. Like, why would you keep Sims when Angus Crichton or like Travojevic, they're way younger. Like Sims has got like 2 years left. I don't know why you're picking and sticking him. And he's hardly played this year.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
Again, do we
baffling.
just kind of go with the point here? Like, if we're trying to piece it together, that like he's going for something very specific in the way that he wants to play this game.
I think, there's a whole thing of it being, the expected aerial bombardment, etc.
Yeah.
And Tupou maybe being better equipped to handle it. But like Cody said to me before, when has that ever been a problem for the Fox at any point in his career? No one's
Yeah.
ever went, I don't think he's that good under the eyeball.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever really been a factor.
Yeah. It's like, dude, Coates and Cobbo are like 194, both of them. Like, you can't do much about that anyway.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Toto's on the other side, so it's like,
Yeah.
they'll just kick to the other side.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah.
We'll see, though, I guess.
We'll see. Other than that, I don't think the team's that different. I'm excited. I'm so excited to see Luai and Cleary play. I was saying to Nathan on the car ride here, Luai is easily, him and Latrell, I reckon, are my two favourite players to watch in the competition.
Oh, yeah, you like Luai.
I love him. I reckon he gives me like those Benji Marshall vibes, but a bit more intense. Bit more intense.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of just
Yeah,
gets in the face of the opposition.
He's
Very
a pet.
entertaining. He's entertaining.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
good to watch, hey.
Yeah, I like the shit talk from the boys last year.
Definitely.
It's a shame. I really would have liked to see Crichton and To'o and Luai on the one edge and just see
Definitely.
them like
Same.
just get into the Queensland on that left they'd be left edge.
Yeah,
So they're
left edge.
Queensland right edge. But yeah.
To be fair to Tarek though, did throw one of the greatest try assists I've
Yeah.
ever seen
Yeah.
last
He
year.
did, in fairness. he did, yeah.
Cut out ball offload.
Again.
Not sure I've seen
Yeah.
many of those.
Well, like you say, it's no Tarek slander. It's more just in the context of the other selections that makes it odd, right?
Yeah.
One thing we glanced over as well, fucking Jack Whiten at centre and Crichton on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually have a bit of a theory as to what I think will happen.
Give it to me.
I actually think that Whiten is going to stay on and Katoni Staggs will come off and Crichton will come on for Staggs. Because being Staggs' first game at this level and not really played any finals footy before, of course he's a great player, he's obviously a natural athlete. But, Crichton's played in grand finals, slightly higher intensity games. I almost feel like Whiten's staying on because he's an 80-minute player no matter what. And you bring Staggs off and Crichton on. And also Whiten's playing on the edge with Tupou. Staggs is playing on the edge with Tor.
So Staggs is on the left.
Yeah.
I think
Are you
it's
sure?
the other way. Yeah,
No.
'Cause
It's the other way around?
I originally thought that as well. I thought that was really silly considering that was their whole reason they picked
Let's double
Tupou.
check because
But normally you have the 5 and the 3 on one side and the 4 and the 2 on the other.
Well, Toto's a left-sided player. So is Whiten.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was-
And Tupu and Katoni are
That's
right
what I was
side.
thinking.
Yeah.
Is I was looking at the team last night. Maybe I've got it wrong.
I do like that theory though.
Yeah. No, Staggs and Toto on the left, 3 and 2.
But 4 and 2 stay on the same side.
Yeah.
And 3.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
3 and 5. on the
Katoni
other
be
side. Yeah.
well, Katoni and Jack being on the other sides wouldn't make sense. Tony's a right-sided player. Jack's
That's
left.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
You make
But
a
I
good
think Tupou's also a left-sided, so
Toto could, because Toto used to play right, so Toto could go back over.
Yeah.
That would make sense, because then it would,
Yeah.
if Crichton comes on for Stags, then it would be Crichton and Toto on the right,
oh yeah,
on Cleary's side. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then Whiten and Tupu would stay on that left side.
True.
Which could, and then again, maybe if they're if Toto is going to get an aerial bombardment, and then they could bring on Crichton at centre to help him defend
Yeah,
that.
that's a good point.
or even Crichton on the wing. He can play. Yeah, as
Well,
well.
that's what I'm saying. Like in defence, he could go out on the wing just to like help Toto out.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, look, we've got our tinfoil hats on here at the VAR.
Yeah. Well, we said we'd get into it. It's the origin special.
I really like that theory from you though, because I can't see Whiten coming off. Can
Well,
you?
I don't.
Why would you
would
take
you?
Whiten off?
yeah.
Why? Yeah, you wouldn't do it.
He loves.
Although I've
White.
got my
Yeah.
my numbers mixed up there with the players,
Yeah, that's
but I
right.
still can't see like my
No, your theory
idea would still stand.
Still stands for sure. That makes way more sense.
I can't see.
In a sense as well, like
happening.
I would trust Crichton more on the field than Stags.
Yeah,
Yeah, given.
I'm so keen to see Stags like rip and tear, but I am worried a little bit. He
Same.
doesn't have any big game experience, like no finals. It could be like that type of thing where he kind of just has like a really quiet game, and then
I worry most about Stags, like getting not overexcited, but like just being brash and like running
Yeah.
out of the line in defence
Yeah.
and stuff. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And they're the ones that always look bad on the winger, but the winger has to go in with the
Yeah.
centre. So like,
yeah,
we'll see. I guess maybe that's his plan. Like maybe Crichton is the cover for Stags if it goes wrong.
But maybe that's us being skeptical. Maybe Stags is going to have a blinder. Who knows?
It's
absolutely, yeah.
Ideally, you want him to have a great game.
yeah,
Well, it's us playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
yeah.
We just spin theorizing here. You know?
Well, someone's got to try and work out what the fuck's going on here. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what we're here to do.
That's what we're doing. We'll move on. Is there anything else we want to add to the team overviews at all?
So,
Uh,
what would you change?
Frizzell on the bench as well kind of seems a bit odd to me.
I don't think
he is.
he's in
I
there.
think
He's
he was in the
18.
squad.
He's
Who's the bench?
extended. Bench is Stephen Crichton, Liam Martin, Regan
okay.
Campbell-Gillard,
Gotcha.
Ryan Madison.
Ryan
It's
Madison was an interesting one for me. I thought.
Yeah.
What role does he play when he comes on? Does he play?
I think he
Second-
plays anywhere
second.
in the second row or lock.
Because there's only one prop on there.
Well,
Yeah, I don't really.
but
Yeah,
Liam Martin kind of is pretty expendable in the forward pack, you'd say.
But he's not a prop.
no, he's a
he's
second
not.
rower.
Like two
But
props
Kane-
on the bench is always
Yeah.
kind of like
Well, that's the thing with Jake Travojevic.
Yeah.
He can play anywhere efficiently in
the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely would have put Jake over Maddo. I
You
think.
know.
Yeah,
because you would say Martin and Madison are two like generally speaking. I'm not saying they can't play other positions,
Yeah.
but they are out and out back rowers.
yeah, exactly.
And generally speaking, back rowers play 80 minutes.
Yes.
So
I'm surprised Liam Martin's not even starting, if I'm being honest.
who's on the right edge?
it's
Murray.
Tarek and Murray.
Oh, okay, Murray.
Murray,
of course.
you don't question Murray.
Yeah, Murray's
No.
in.
But I mean, Liam Martin, the guy he's like a
Yeah.
pit bull.
Yeah.
He just does.
Well, he came off the bench last year.
I know, but I feel like his stance in the competition has
You'd think
elevated.
you'd have him over Tarek.
Yeah,
I think his standing in the competition has he's one of the best forwards in the comp.
Yeah, he's unreal. Hey.
yeah.
He just doesn't stop. Like you watch him play, and then you talk about the intensity that Penrith team has. He very much underpins that. Like
Yeah.
you know,
It's an interesting bench because Campbell-Gillard hasn't played Origin for a few years. Maddo's on debut. Crichton's on debut. And Liam Martin, again, yeah. I mean,
and Nico 18th man. So
it's a
Whatever.
really strange team. I think from what we were expecting, as it
Again-
always is, seems to be with Freddie, right?
yeah, like we've done a lot of theorizing here. No one, and you just in the build up, we've heard a lot of theorizing. What's going to happen? No one can put their finger on it. Guess we're going to have to wait and see Wednesday night, see what happens.
Well, that's our disclaimer.
Yeah, at the end of the day, as well. Like in past years, I might have been a little bit more skeptical. Munster in form and everything, the weird team, but we still have it's still Cleary and Luai and
Exactly.
Cook and Teddy running the show, and yeah, like Luai's
And Yo,
and Yo,
Isaiah
yes.
Yo, one of
Yeah.
the form players in the comp himself currently.
Well, he's all right. He can play football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just he's almost untouchable right now,
Yeah, he's out and away the best 13, isn't he?
and even one like top top 5 most valuable players in the comp right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty good, yeah.
Well, he's second
But
in the
this
Dally M's, isn't he?
well, this season he's definitely been
And last,
definitely
yeah.
and last. But I think this year especially, like with Penrith having a spate of players out across so early this year, Isaiah Yeo was there every game.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Yeo, carried them, getting them those wins. We didn't carry them, but I think he's probably
the glue.
a pillar, the pillar of that team.
Yeah, especially with no Nathan, right?
Yeah.
Nathan, how many games did he miss?
About 4.
A few.
Yeah, 4
And
or
they won
5.
all of them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Gee,
Crazy.
Yeah, he's just so crafty up the middle.
yeah.
Isaiah Yeo, anytime try scorer? Question mark.
No.
Oh,
No,
I wouldn't.
Okay. Series predictions. What do we think is going to happen? We'll go. Okay. This is kind of 2 criteria question. Results of game 1 and the series. Cody, first up.
Game 1, Queensland 1-12.
You didn't put a score there. That was what you were supposed to do. Put a score. You just put
He's
1
done
to.
a big little.
Yeah, you just went. You did like a bet. Like you went 1 to 12.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Do you want me to put a score?
No, it's fine. It's a bit late now.
Like Queensland, I don't know. Like 14-6?
Oh, I thought you were going to go and steal mine.
Nah, 14-6
wow.
maybe. Yeah.
Unders is what you're saying.
Oh, well unders.
Yeah.
14-6. I don't think Queensland will... They'll go 2-1.
They'll win 2-1.
They'll win 2-1.
Well, I reckon the series is going to be a massive grind. So yeah, I've gone a 2-point win. Probably a penalty goal will win it. 14-12 is my general ballpark scoreline. I reckon New South Wales have to win the first 2 games if they want to win this series. So I reckon that, and then Queensland will come back with a more of a resounding victory in the last one when it's a dead rubber.
I like that. I've got New South Wales win 18-14 on Wednesday night. Me and Nathan actually had the same score.
Yeah.
We had the same score in mind. And I've also got New South Wales win 2-1. I reckon it's going to go down to the wire, though. I reckon Game 3 Suncorp, it's on.
Okay.
It's on.
Be
And
a first for us in a while.
yeah, it will be. I'm keen to see a decider.
Yeah.
Something, though, I'm not happy about in terms of location and venues. Although we're talking about how scat ANZ or Accor is, I reckon Game 2 in Perth is more scat. And I don't like the idea of any of the games that could possibly be a decider being held outside of New South Wales or Queensland. Like, I got nothing against Game 1 being held at Perth, but Game 2, Game 3, where it's like, the natural home ground advantage could be favourable. I feel like those most important games should be there.
Okay. I don't really have thoughts on this, to be honest. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it too much. You?
I was thinking about it a little bit. I mean, getting the first game victory is like obviously such a big deal because, I mean, after that, any game you win is a series win. So maybe the teams want the advantage in like a game 1 situation. Like you'd want to switch that around. And then obviously you want a home ground advantage in the decider. So I thought maybe it is probably the best one to do. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I wouldn't mind like a home ground for the game 1, get the early 1-0 lead, and then
Yeah, that's a good point.
it's neutral.
It's also, and to sort of, I'm kind of thinking in the same line as you, where it's like, let's say New South Wales lose this first game, and like you'd so much rather be going to Perth to try and recover it than to go up to Queensland. So it almost favours a likelier outcome for it to be a decider.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it gives the losing team of game 1 sort of like a fresh start where they don't
That's a
have
good
to.
point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
That's a
don't
good
have to
point.
go like Queensland or New South Wales don't then have to go up to Queensland and try and recover the series.
Yeah.
That's true.
They get to do it in Perth and then
But also, on that, yeah, it's good for whoever the losing team is. But in terms of the narrative of the series, doesn't it sound so much better if a team has to go, first game's neutral, the next 2 games, say the next game, they lose that, and then they have to go away to win the next game. Isn't that so much better for the narrative?
yeah.
I personally don't like it that much. I'd rather game 1 be mutual venue.
Yeah. I don't know. It just really doesn't faze me that much. I don't
I didn't.
care.
It doesn't like. I'm not avidly rattled by it. Although
Well,
it
you
might
sound a
sound
bit
like it. It might
rattled.
sound like it, but it's just something I kind of thought of, and I was like, you know what? I would rather it be if it was my choice, but obviously it's not.
Okay.
Mm.
So if it was Perth, Queensland, New South Wales, you would rather
You'd
that,
rather that.
Yeah.
even if we went down 1-0.
Well, we won't, but yeah. No,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Okay. We've kind of already touched on it slightly. Just to add, this is kind of the follow-on point from those selections and team overview. But if results don't go New South Wales' way, what possible team changes could you guys see coming in the games following?
Well, this is my biggest issue with this team. And I kind of said it before, but I feel like it invites so much pressure and so much attention onto New South Wales. It's like, we're all talking about why they didn't pick the Fox. The Fox has gone out and scored 2 tries and run for 200 metres over the weekend.
Yeah.
If we get towed on Wednesday and Tupu drops a ball, costs us the game,
Fingers are pointed.
we're going to look real silly. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether Freddie does. Let's say that does happen, right? Let's say Queensland win this game. Do you think Freddie will stay loyal to this game one team and he'll be stubborn and stick with it?
Depends.
Or
what
do you
the
reckon
scoreline is.
do you reckon he'll go back to Jake?
If they
and
get flogged in certain areas of the park, I can see them changing.
Yeah. I reckon it definitely will. I think going back to, I think it was game 1 2019 and we just come off that first win. I think we only lost 18-14 or something. But they made a couple of, it was a kind of similar situation. They made a couple of interesting selections. Everyone was like, oh, and then they lost, and then they went back to what they probably should have done the first time.
That was when we went to Perth, right? And
yeah, that was
pumped
when,
them?
we pumped them, and then the game we were talking about earlier, where last second basically of the game when we won the series. But yeah, I think it'll be a similar situation to that, and they'll just kind of go back to it.
And
it's too much pressure.
And remember as well, Latrell comes back at some point. So whether that's game 2 or game 3, he's done a massive rehab on his hamstring. Whether he plays game 2, fine. If he's fit for game 3, you imagine he's going to play.
You'd think so.
You can't leave him out of the side at all.
No, you can't.
Even if it is for just one game. I'd expect him to come back, whether who gets dropped or not. I feel like maybe then Whiten would go to 14 and Crichton or Staggs fight it out for the other centre pairing. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I think as soon as Latrell comes back, he's in the team. One of the probably top 3 best players last year. Basically, broke the series wide open for New South Wales. He has to come back. He's earned his spot.
Yeah.
Although Freddie kind of isn't so much pick and sticking, it seems.
No.
But yeah, I think he comes back definitely, and unfortunately, I think it's probably going to be Staggs missing out just because.
The Penrith link.
Yeah, the Penrith link or Whiten stays over him, I think.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of we just have to cross that bridge when we come to it, right?
Yeah.
You think you'd imagine Freddie will stay with Whiten.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he
That's
always
what I think.
does.
He always does.
Which we're not mad about. We like Jack Whiten.
Yeah.
We
love
like
Jack
Whiten.
Whiten.
We're
Fan of Jack
Whitens,
Whiten.
yeah.
Jack
he's
Whiten.
good.
Well, he'll go to left. Latrell will go to left centre, right? So
Yeah.
Whiten will either go back to 14, like you were saying. Yeah, I kind of agree with you then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Again, my mass changes I think will come pending the result.
Yeah. Well, that's what this kind of section is all about. Saying result. We're playing
Yeah.
devil's advocate in this bit. If results
For
don't
sure.
go the way,
For
Yeah.
sure.
what happens.
I think that one. I think Latrell comes back, win or lose.
One more thing: if they lose, say if the battle of the middle breaks down for New South Wales, Gerbo comes in first. I reckon. I don't know who on the bench makes way, but I imagine Jake Trbojevic comes down.
If we just get dominated.
Yeah. I could see Jakey coming straight.
Is it
back.
Haas and Paulo starting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
For sure.
I'd choose them. But yeah,
Yeah.
Jake off the bench. You just want that workhorse. They've got Cotter
Carrigan.
and Carrigan now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'll say this though. I do think we see Josh Addo-Carr in a New South Wales jersey this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Well,
it's tough. It's so tough to leave him out. Like it's.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jake doesn't come back in. I'll be very
Yeah.
surprised if we don't see Josh.
yeah.
I'll be very surprised.
Well, I think I think I had an extra point with. I think that like if Latrell coming back, I think Fox comes back with Latrell.
I was just thinking that.
And
actually.
I think it'd be cool. Although Whiten probably will keep his spot. I reckon it'd be cool to have Crichton and To'o in one wing, and then you get Latrell and Fox on the other who've
that
played
would be
together.
That would be
and
cool.
and then you kind of got Niggle on both ends as well.
That
Really
team
getting
makes a lot more
the
sense.
young guys.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you think?
Yeah,
That
and then
team
you
does
got
make
Whiten,
sense.
and then Whiten's your
At
14.
See, that gets,
Even to an
that
extent,
gets me up and about.
even if
Yeah.
they were getting, even if they didn't bring Fox back in, that team gets me up and about. But having Tupou and Latrell on the same left edge, like they were at the Roosters, also makes sense
Yep.
if they were to come back. So like, there's kind of pairings that make sense across the park. But again, this is results based.
Which again, I kind of like. It kind of almost makes the Katoni selection a bit of a shock selection in a way,
Yeah.
because it doesn't fit any of the combinations.
Yeah, he's on there. Form merits him to be there, obviously, but
Just throbber merits.
just
being
he
a
just
freak
yeah,
merit.
he just comes
Yeah.
in and just absolutely tears. And when he pushes a Queensland player into the grandstand,
We'll all be going, yes.
yeah, we're gonna be up and about. But yeah, I can't see him play all 3 games. It'd be cool to see him play all 3, but I don't think he will.
Yeah. When they announced it, I was kind of, or when they were set to announce it, I was definitely I was Crichton Staggs. Those are my centers. But then I kind of forgot about Whiten, I guess. And now that Whiten's in there, I'm kind of like, how did Staggs get in over Crichton? If that,
I'm going white.
It puzzles me.
Anytime tries.
I'm keen to see him in the blue, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he got in over.
I did voice this with you on the podcast last week, just before we move on. Kind of a final point here.
Yeah.
One of my biggest frustrations, again, not only with New South Wales putting pressure on themselves, I don't like the way that Freddie builds towards the future in Origin. I don't think that needs to be done. It's not the way, like, if you look at Queensland as like the way they've selected teams and built dynasties or back-to-back series over the years. Every single game, they pick the best player in each position. If they're ready, they're ready. It's like they've picked Cotter and Cobbo because they're ready, but it feels like Staggs has almost been picked as a player of the future. He doesn't, to me, Selwyn Cobbo on that wing feels like the player that is most likely to win them the game in that position. But I don't feel like Staggs is like our best possible asset in that position at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just that's kind of just like
X factor.
Yeah, he's X factor, but it's kind of just shadowed in selections that Freddie's made before. That's frustrated me, right?
For example, Campbell Graham maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's not for the future.
But he's been in the camp for like 3 years.
Yeah.
He's played before.
No, he hasn't played.
He hasn't played.
Has he not played Origin?
He's been like 19th man.
Oh, I swear he played
yeah,
a season.
he's never
19th man. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's why I thought he was my pick to be there. But
Yeah.
and my idea for Campbell Graham was if you're thinking of like a tall, fast centre to replace Turbo, he's kind of the ideal match.
Yeah. Or
Crichton.
Crichton.
Yeah.
Either or.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, for me, Crichton's like a top 3 centre in the league after Olam and Manu. So I just, I'm surprised he just didn't start.
Definitely. We've got to play the series now. We'll move on from team selections. We could
Go
literally
out.
That's why I'm trying to move it on because we could go on for about the team selections. You can just dribble all day about that.
Yeah, you can.
All 3 of us would be guilty of doing so. Player of the series. Okay, Nathan, would you like to go first?
No. No, I'll go last.
Well, I'm playing kind of the devil's advocate from the New South Wales standpoint. I'm not confident at all about this series. I'll be honest. I'm putting it out there. I'm not confident. I'm really not confident.
Fair enough.
I think Cameron Munster in career best form in a Queensland jersey, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Money gets he gets the whatever the medal's called. What's it called? Wally Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If I don't want it to happen, but if Queensland does happen to win, I'd say Munster would definitely be the
you could
player
say
of the
him being
series.
there.
Yeah.
I'll go next, I guess. I'm going Cleary. Seems like a favourite option, but I even think in a losing team, Nathan Cleary could still get it. A player maybe not. Well, you could argue he's not at the peak of his powers yet, and he's still
The best 7. by
best
far.
7 in the comp. So keen to see him go at it. Hopefully for all 3 games this year. Yeah, we'll see. Hope. I think he's going to go in. I think he'll get it.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, yeah. I kind of wanted to do someone different because obviously, Cleary and Munster. Yeah, definitely good
Obvious
options.
picks.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts was the series is obviously going to be really close. It's not going to be the centers and like stuff like getting the
Tearing
best,
it up like
tearing it up
last
like
year.
last year. Yeah. So I'm thinking it'll come down to those like the Clearys and
The grind players.
yes, and my predictions Yao. Just because I think he's just going to be so integral to us, like getting up the middle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, moving them around
Good
and
pick.
stuff.
I saw you put that last night. I was thinking,
Yeah.
that's a good pick. That's
Yeah.
a good
Well,
pick.
I would have. They were my tossing. I was tossing up between those two, but I'm really worried. I'm
Yeah.
really worried.
Well, I'm worried as well, but I still think am I delusional thinking they're still going to win? Maybe, maybe not, but I think we will. Okay, now we've got some bold / smoky predictions. Cody, this was freakish. We actually started typing it at the same time. I ended up writing in some other ones, but we had the same prediction.
Same smoky prediction.
Yeah.
My smoky prediction is Jack Whiten's the standout for New South Wales. For a few reasons. Firstly, mate, he's been killing it again this year in a Raiders side that wasn't killing. They're doing all right now,
Yeah.
but all through the start of the season, he was like the only player that was ripping.
Yeah.
He's kind of due to just play really well for New South Wales. He's there in the team every year, but
In and about.
he hasn't really seemed to like hit his straps. So I just think he's in for a big series.
Well, he's a big game player. You can't argue that he's not winning. Player of the match in a losing side in a grand final is no mean feat.
No,
and
exactly.
Dally M player of the year that year.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a player that can play at a high level on the big stage, and for that reason, I would agree with what Cody had to say.
I like the fact that he's like a half playing in the centers as well. Like, because he's such a big body, so he plays as a center, but he's still got like the IQ and the ability of a half out there. So it's like he's almost a bit of point of difference in a sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I think he hasn't really like
Been able to express.
properly or to his like his best potential or to the most of his potential so far in Origin.
Yeah.
So Jack Whiten.
So it's a Blues thing at the moment, isn't it? It's like you don't actually pick a center at center.
No.
Whoever.
It's just reluctant. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fullback or a 5'8" or something. No, you go again, Z.
Okay, so obviously, like I said, same as Cody Whiten to do a job. I've got someone who's been touted or was touted there last year, 18th man. This year, talked about so much. Probably will get talked about so much in years to come. Nico Hines. I don't reckon he plays at any point in this series, which is a bit of a shame because I'd love to see him play. But I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to touch a blade of grass.
Barring it, what about an injury?
Yeah,
Jeez.
injury.
Injury
I don't
does
reckon.
Whiten replace?
I don't think he gets on the pitch.
What if Nathan goes down?
Well, Pappy's back by the
Reynolds.
time game 2. Yeah, well,
Reynolds.
that's the thing. I just don't know if he's gonna.
Is Paps back for game 2?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
should
Round
be
15,
actually, yeah.
he's back. So I don't like if Paps is healthy, he's coming straight into the team.
Yeah, do you reckon he goes 14?
Well, he
I
comes
always-
into the squad. I don't know where he's going to play. That's a different can of worms, but he's coming into the squad nonetheless. Nico Hines, I can see on the out.
I always had Paps over Nico in the Origin squad. I understand Nico's more versatile. I just think Paps gets in there before.
Well, we agreed on that.
Yeah.
But I just that adds to my reason. I don't
Adds
think
to your
Nico.
yeah. No, I like that. I agree. I don't think Nico will play New South Wales this year.
Yeah, no, yeah, bar injuries. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I've also got one more bold prediction. Ruben Cotter, the man with the mullet for Queensland, makes maybe the most. I think he's going to make the most tackles ever in an Origin series.
Do we know who's got that at the moment?
I don't. No, let's not research it now. But that, like, honestly, the bloke, watching him versus the Panthers, and everything that moved, every time the Panthers had the ball, I was like, he's there again. He just
Like
popped
pest.
out the whole game, like full 80 minutes, the whole game.
He's gonna love Origin. That
And
bloke.
I know, and run. Not only was he doing all that stuff, he was also running out the line, taking hit ups.
Yeah.
You know, setting up play. It wasn't a small performance by any measure. So, Reuben Cotter, most tackles ever in an Origin series.
I think. I remember Robbie Farah. I think he's maybe got the most tackles in a game.
Is that 62?
63
63.
that year,
I
and his
remember that.
mum died the day before.
Yeah.
His mum died on the Tuesday, and he made
Age
63
63.
tackles. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Wednesday.
Wow.
Shout out Robbie Farah.
Shout out
Great.
Robbie Farah, yeah. I
But yeah.
saw him in a club in Adelaide.
Yeah,
I
you
said
told that on the pod.
story.
Yeah, you did.
We were young, probably would have been 19, maybe, or maybe not even 19 yet. We were away on a lads trip in Adelaide to watch the cricket, and we were at this pub called the Dog and Duck, and they had this like back room that kind of had like housey EDM tunes. I'll say, wasn't the greatest setup. In the front, there was kind of a live music, and in the back they had it very random. However, we got standing bar. Is that Robbie Farah? And we went over to say hey to him, and he just was like, "What the fuck are you guys? Like, shut up, leave me alone."
Yeah, right.
To be honest, fair enough. If
Don't
I was
blame
him,
him.
I also would have been like, "Man, I'm in Adelaide, I'm not even in New South Wales."
Yeah,
Don't talk.
Yeah, go away.
Very much a brush with lame.
That's pretty lame.
That I could have. That it was so lame. It was. Yeah, that's not a flex in any way.
Yeah, well, my bold prediction was kind of my player of this series, Yo. So I made it like a little extra,
Okay.
maybe for the punters you get on.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No, I just reckon Yo tearing it up the middle. I just reckon Haas or Paulo, I reckon one of them's going to get over for their first Origin try.
I
this
like that
series.
a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gee, there'd be money in that.
Short
Yeah.
ball.
Yes.
Ball to Paulo. I'm thinking he loves a little short
Yeah.
ball on the line.
I'm going more Haas, personally, but I would
Why
not
not
be
both?
surprised. Yeah, well, I've said
Why not?
both of them in one.
In one game.
And/or.
Wow.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Possibly
And-
both.
Oh, that would be paying massive.
That would be huge.
Massive dollars.
Gamble responsibly, of course. Do we have any little tasty moldies that either you want to throw up?
Oh, yeah, I'd concocted one in my head today.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So did
thinking I was going what I'll probably do. I'm thinking because I got to do an honest one. I got to do an honest one with how this game I think it's going to go.
Okay.
I think Queensland go 1-12.
Yep.
Munster, Kafusi anytime. Second rowers love Origin tries. They fucking love them.
Yeah.
They do.
That's fact.
Because I don't know what it is. They always just seem to cross, and they always seem to cross first.
That's
So Kafusi maybe first try scorer separate.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where my head's at. I'm not on New South Wales at all for this game. I'll be honest.
fair enough.
I haven't really thought multi, except I was thinking maybe I'd maybe go Val or Dane Gagai to score the first try scorer. Sorry to go against your multi,
That's
but yeah, I was just thinking one of those. They always score an Origin. They love an Origin try.
That's
so.
true. I similar thought process to Nathan. I'm thinking captain's knock first game, home ground. Teddy's going over anytime. In with Gagai anytime. And then I'd probably go Queensland. If there's a pick your own handicap there, I'd go Queensland plus 10. And then I'm thinking unders.
Yeah.
Unders on
But the thing with this game, they always get the unders over so right.
Oh, it's so
it's
bang
always
on.
the amount of times over the years you go, oh my god, like that cost me my multi because I went over.
Well, you can even go, I'm thinking unders, or you can put on a bit of a cat alternative.
Yeah.
And just go alternative total points. I'll probably what I might do, I'll definitely back out of doing unders and overs and just go over 20 points in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'll do
I
like
think it's gonna be low score.
they'll do like 29.5 or even lower. It'll be like
It's
26
It's 36.5
at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's
actually.
tasty unders right there.
Yeah,
Surely.
I'd
True.
go unders on that.
Oh, I'm going to do unders then. Convince me. Jack White in any time as well. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on the Jack White in any time try scorer.
I'd like to be playing outside Jack White in this game. True. Or inside.
Yeah. True.
I did say second rows love meat pies. Who's on his
Does
side?
Tarek silence us? Does Tarek go over?
Tarek,
Tarek.
maybe
I'm not
Tarek
gonna, I
goes
wouldn't
over.
hate it. Tarek goes over. I wouldn't hate it. Like, I would love to see the big fella go over.
Well, Tarek's best rugby league's still ahead of him because he's
Well,
got to pull on a
Melbourne
Melbourne Storm
Storm.
jersey next year. Tarek's probably going to be in the squad
Yeah,
again next
we're
year.
talking
Yeah.
about him like not going to be there in the future. He's going to play there till he retires.
Maybe that's why Freddie's picked him this year, because he knows that next year he's going to be even better.
Yeah.
So like he's just like, he's may as well just pick him this year again.
Tarek would be that scary running at you, eh? Like he looks just mean.
He looks
He'd
edge,
probably be the
dude.
nicest bloke.
Yeah,
but
he looks edge.
scary.
No, he like looks, I don't know, just because he's kind of even more scary than Junior Paulo in a way.
Definitely.
Just like because he's bigger and wider, and he looks like his bones hurt more.
Mm.
He's like, I don't know,
And he's got a sharper haircut.
yeah, a sharper jawline.
Yeah. Calm down. Anything else? Anyone wants to add? We got anything?
Did I mention I'm scared?
I'm very scared as well. to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're gonna win, but I don't really believe the words coming out of my mouth.
Mm.
But I'm hoping
That's what
it
I'm
happens.
saying,
Yeah.
dude.
Like I'm going, yeah, New South Wales to win, but I'm going, but maybe also
Do you
not.
believe that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be touching a result in my multi,
No,
regardless.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I
I'm
wouldn't
not
be-
touching a result.
I'm leaving the team like the head to head betting alone.
Yeah.
Go the line.
Yeah.
100%.
What is the line? Does anyone know?
It's
Be like 3.5 or
Yeah,
something, surely.
something low.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What are you doing for it Wednesday night?
I'm not sure yet. I've got a couple options
Mm.
been thrown around.
Mm.
I think our football team's going to watch it.
Nice.
Team bonding night. Yeah. Should be right.
Yeah, I think we're going to Jared and Ryan's. They don't know yet, but
Oh, you're
yeah,
going
yeah.
Well,
Just going to take like 20 of my mates.
yeah, just rock up. Hey, boys.
Hey guys, just walk straight in the front door.
Are we going to do another episode this week at all?
Maybe.
Maybe not.
To be
Stay-
board meeting to be held.
yeah, board meeting to be held. If you're still here, stay tuned on the Instagram or social media. We'll be posting up soon in regards to the bracket, other episodes, and this episode itself.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
Origin special. Gamble responsibly, drink responsibly, enjoy your night, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Nathan, for being
Thanks,
here.
Nathan, for coming in.
No worries.
Mate,
boys.
job,
great
mate.
showing. Great showing.
Cheers. Have a good week.
Cheers.